Hey guys, thanks for tuning in to Dirt Bike Channel. I'm your host Kyle Brotherson. Today we're going to be talking about the Bulletproof Designs radiator guard. Now, what I'm holding in my hands is a brand new design. Nate over Bulletproof Designs and his team have designed a brand new radiator guard for a lot of their bikes, including this KTM, this 2017 KTM. This bike already has a set of their radiator guards on here, but this is the older design. So what I want to do is pull off the radiator guards and compare the new one to the old one. See what kind of differences we can tell. See if there's any weight differences. Highlight some of what we're seeing here, and then put the new ones back on the bike. That's what's coming up. Okay, so we have the old guards off the bike, and I've been examining them in comparison to the new guards. So basically, here's the old guard and here's the new guard. Just some really subtle differences, and I'm gonna bring you closer into this shot so that you can see. They've redesigned the outer heel of the guard here to come down around your radiator and give you more protection down there. That was the first obvious difference, and you can tell how they sit on the table here. That was an obvious difference of the redesign. But there's a few more subtle things that I want to show you as I bring you in a little bit closer. With this close-up, you can really see the redesign around, where it's going to come down around your radiator and protect that a lot better. So you can see how much different that is. The other thing that I wanted to point out is overall they retain about the same shape, but you'll notice that the new guard on the back has a little bit of a bulge right here, where it will come and it's sticking out a little bit more to give you a little bit more protection against, bending your radiators. That's going to come out and be in contact more probably with your shrouds, because your tank shroud is going to be right on this. I mean, this is how it's going to sit on the bike, like that. And so this is going to be sticking out just a little bit more outside there to give you some more protection. So those are a couple of things to note just right off the bat there. Flipping this over to look from the back side, I've got the old guard on the left and I've got the new guard on the right. And first thing that I noticed is that there is a lot more of this lateral bracing. Well, there's two additional lateral braces here on the new guard that we didn't have on the old guard. I have to guess that is going to help resist against crumpling this way, because as it's on your bike, if you fall, you lay down, it's going to go crash down into the ground like that, boom. And I think that these braces here are going to help it against crumpling. You'll also notice that they cut down. I mean, this on the old guard, this was a much taller piece than it is on the new design. And then if you compare the outsides, they've done a lot. They've done a little bit. See, on the old design, it just sort of followed an arc around. Now they're kind of taking some of that material out and notching this a little bit more on the outside. So I'm not exactly sure what the purpose of that is. I also noticed that they have a slightly different shape up along the top. So just some minor differences, but the main thing that I can tell is these braces are definitely going to help against the crumpling, and then obviously you've got far greater support down here on the outside of your guard, protecting that bottom corner of the radiator. Taking a look at the front side, mostly the same here, although again with the differences in how they've cut out the design on the outside of the guards. One additional feature here. They've actually drilled out a couple of three holes here for us. That's so that you can put a bolt down in these holes, and then you can use the rubber bands here, these bands, in order to hook your radiator shrouds to the guard. So the bolt would go through there, and this would be hooked in your radiator shroud. That would be if you didn't want to if you wanted to be able to take your that makes it so you can take your tank off the bike without having to remove a bunch of bolts. So I'll show you how that would work when we go to install it. Installation of these guards couldn't possibly be more simple. There's really only two bolts, and they're going to go in here and here. the only thing to note is that you do have a couple of little notches here that go on that hook into the radiator. So there's a little notch here on the guard that hooks into this tab, and same thing on the bottom that hooks onto this tab. So just make sure that you line those notches up and put it in, and then line up your holes, and these things will go right in. One thing I will say, because I've installed a number of radiator guards in the past, these guys at Bulletproof Designs, they make this thing to a very tight spec, and if you have dumped your bike without radiator guards on before, there's a high probability that you've already bent your radiators, and if your radiators are bent at all, this is going to be a lot more difficult to install. You saw how easy that was for me to do. If you've bent your radiators, it's not going to be as easy for you. You may have to kind of force feed some things on this sucker if you've already bent your radiators. Just something to note. I installed this bolt right here so that we can try that banded mounting option. So I'll put the other bolt down here on the bike. So this shows you how you can do the installation here with just the rubber bands they give you. So you just kind of loop it around your shroud. All I did is I dropped my tank on here, and then you take your little washers out of the shroud and put these on, and that would be how you would install this. They've got 3 different bolts here. They've got a top one, but what I found is actually the 2 bottom ones here work better because there's just not enough tension on the band if you put that top one up on the top. So that's why I did it that way. I think I might actually run it with the bolts on this guy, but you can run it this way, and that way, in order to take your tank off, all you have to do is take the 1 bolt off of your tank, and then boom, unhook these things, and then your tank comes off. So it makes it easy if you're doing that quite a bit. So that's a cool option. So I've done this both ways in the past. I have used the rubber band option, and I've used the bolt option, and I don't take my tank off that much, so it doesn't really make a huge difference to me which one I do, but I'm gonna put the bolts in this time just because I want it to be a little bit more secure. The main reason why I've decided not to use these the rubber band mounting options is I've got an aftermarket plastic kit on this bike, and as you can see, that little thing is going to rub. Now, this barely was rubbing on my other radiator guards. They've kind of beveled this edge just slightly right here, and that helps. But with this is a Cycra aftermarket plastic kit. This sticks out just a little bit more. It comes closer than the stock plastic, and so that rubbing like that would really bug me. So I'm not going to use that. I've just bolted it on without the band option. This T-handle is just a little bit too huge to work really great right up around the shrouds and the forks. So just gonna snug these down, make sure we're good. And we're good on that side, and we're good on this side. So that is installed, and that is bulletproof. Let's finish the other side. These things literally are just about the easiest thing that there is to install. That is, like I mentioned earlier, if you install them early on before you put a bunch of dents or before you bend your radiators. If you try to install them after your radiators are bent, not as easy. In their instructions, they talk about removing these little washers off the fender shroud and putting it on your bolt first, and then starting the bolt into the radiator, saying that will help a lot. And I can attest that is probably a good idea. Then you want to make sure that you give a good pressure on your shroud, because you want to make sure that you don't pinch the plastic. You want to be able to get that washer to then go back down inside the plastic shroud in the place that it's supposed to, so you don't damage your plastic there. But it was a good idea to take that washer out of the plastic shroud and onto the bolt to get it to start into the guard. I was gonna weigh the two guards, the old design and the new design, on my little postage scale, but it turns out I lent that postage scale to my dad and he still got that, so couldn't do that for you. But they did feel very, very equal, very similar in weight. Overall, I really do like the new design of the guards. I think that they are stronger, and which is a really good thing, and I think they offer the right protection in the right places, specifically down here on the bottom of the radiator. This stuff, these guards are going to save you against a lot of really hard impacts. You know, when you crash the bike down and you have all kinds of stuff just coming and shoving up this way and giving all kinds of thrust like that, you're going to be able to save the bottom of your radiators here from impacts with logs and trees and whatever as they try to come up there and hit your radiator. So 2 thumbs up for me. Bulletproof Designs is a really cool company. I know the owner over there, really swell dude, and I have no complaints with these guards. I think they are the best in the industry. Haven't seen anything out there that could topple this one. So thanks for watching, guys.
Hey guys, if you didn't already know, Patreon is the best way to support Dirt Bike Channel. We've got some really cool rewards over there, so click on the link up here that you see to become a patron. That'll take you directly to our site and you can check everything out. You can donate as little as $1 per month and it would really help us out. Thanks a ton, guys.